Started. My name is Sally Meckling, and I'm the Communications Director of the Ohio Civil Service Employees Association. Today we're here to talk about our opposition to the proposal being discussed today in the Local Government Committee to restructure state government by severely reducing its operations, downsizing it by 17 agencies, and eliminating 11,000 state employees to fill a budget hole. Our union knows firsthand the cost of downsizing state government because we've been experiencing it for the last 8 to 10 years. We also disagree that extreme reductions have not been happening in Ohio already. 10 years ago, we had nearly 38,000, and this is just OCSEA, remember, 38,000 dues-paying members who are frontline employees in state government. Today, as of yesterday, in fact, we have 32,876. And keep in mind that OCSEA members who are the frontline employees, correction officers among them, represent less than half of state government employees. So we don't represent management, exempt, unclassified, other state employee unions. So that figure doesn't account for those employees. We've closed 8 facilities since 2003, starting with the Orient closure. 2 prisons, 2 developmental centers, 2 behavioral health hospitals, 2 DYS facilities, a 3rd DYS facility coming up. In fact, restructuring of state government has been happening from within instead of from without for some time. In some agencies, it's because of budget reasons and out of necessity. In other agencies like DYS, it's a deliberate reform measure. In other cases, it's a combination of these 2 things. We have a panel of employees who's going to speak to you today, and these are employees who come from the agencies that have been hardest hit over the last 7 years by state cutbacks, reductions, and reorganization. And they typically are institutional agencies, although not always. Some of these stories you've heard before, some of them you've reported on. But we were surprised to hear some legislators lately indicate that there hasn't been downsizing. So we believe these stories bear repeating. We're going to also hear from a couple of employees from the Department of Job and Family Services who went through the merger starting in the year 2000 of the Ohio Bureau of Employment Services and the Ohio Department of Human Services into the mega agency, Ohio Job and Family Services. We're going to start off with Chris Maid. He's right behind me. He is the Vice President of OCSEA. If you could just indicate who you are too.
Thank you for coming this morning. My name is Christopher Mabe. I'm the Vice President of the Ohio Civil Service Employees Association. Just left testimony concerning Senate Bill 52, the consolidation of state services and reduction of the size of government. The state has seen unprecedented downsizing over the last 8 years. I've been with the Department of Corrections for over 20 years, along with my wife. We've served in this state religiously and undyingly to help the state citizens of the state of Ohio. Those services which we provide in the Department of Corrections have become in turmoil over the last few years. We've been in a reduction of job force as well as members, both management and union, of over 1,000 people since the time of Lucasville. During the hearings on the budget testimony, it was odd that there was mention of Lucasville and the riots that happened back in 1990. A lot of the legislators at that point in time had no real idea of the tragedy of what had happened in Southern Ohio. I currently work along with my wife at the Lorraine Correctional Institution. We are 256% over capacity in our institution. The proposals that are up on and been in testimony up above had talked about the reduction of state services of over 11,000 employees. A lot of those employees would be coming from the Department of Corrections. The Department of Corrections currently has over 50,000 inmates in its system, 51,000 to be more precise. With 1,000 less employees inside our system, we have undergone a massive rise in violence against staff, employees, fellow inmates, even visitors inside our facilities. Over 2 years ago, my wife was assaulted by an inmate while eight other staff were on site at the time of that happened. Today, she's still currently employed with the Department of Corrections. She walks with a cane and will for the rest of her life. It's issues like these that need to be brought forth and let the public know that we are here for the safety and survival of the general public, as well as the rehabilitative process for the inmates incarcerated within. We are there to serve not only the process of the department and the Department of Corrections, but reuniting families and assisting them in job skills while incarcerated within. We are there for the safety and sanctity of the surrounding public, to make sure that those who are held inside our fence remain there. It is up to every one of us to help ensure that the services that Ohio provides remain as they are. We're not saying that we don't want to be fiscally responsible and sound. Every agency that we have currently right now has budget committees that are working with their agency directors to try to reduce the spending of the agencies. State employees as a whole have taken massive cuts in pay and benefits to assist Ohio in its dire need for revenue in the GRF funding. Those are the things that we face and we will all face together and help to ensure the economic success and the services and delivery of the services here in the state of Ohio.